pleasure to meet y'all at last. Now we got ourselves another question out here on Why Is That? For anybody though who wants to submit their question to my channel or Twitter, they'd have to start with Why Is That? So this way they can be accepted into my episodes of Why Is That, and they can be put down here in the form of a screenshot. So this way your username will be seen by anybody who sees the video, and you will end up getting yourself a shout out. Your channel might have more subscribers or followers on Twitter, and people might even comment to you or tweet to you or like your tweets or like your videos, or any of which that really make you feel happier about yourself in terms of being on YouTube or Twitter. But today here we got ourselves yet another YouTube commenter who really wanted to bring forth the pain. And his question was, why is that you have countless amounts of nostalgia? And of course of which he is speaking about a lot of the stuff that I have gone forward to love, including television shows and movies, including other stuff around here, even music. Television shows, movies, and music are the prime subjects of this category here, the nostalgia. And now, here I am to answer that particular question. You got yourselves a shout out, man. Go and have people subscribe to your channel. We'll have people follow your Twitter if you have one. Unless, of course, you just have YouTube. But anyhow, though, why I have a huge amount of nostalgia is actually not that big of a question at all. It relates to the fact that which people really like to remember stuff from the past. They like to really get to know about how stuff in the past really changed their lives for the better. And in which, for my type of nostalgia, it's really amazing when you think about it, of which I will be explaining it to you, so this way you will think about it eventually. My nostalgia first comes from a certain point in time after my birth. Because, as it turns out, I was one of the very last people ever to be born in Generation X. Summer of 1999 this was. This was months before that particular generation ended, and right now, right here, we're in the millennial era. Of which I probably will speak about that particular topic later on, generations. But now, here's where nostalgia comes in, because after the year 2000 was really where it really started to bring forth. Because at one point in time, my mother introduced to me the VHS player, and she also introduced me to a Microsoft computer. And this was all during around the year 2000 or 2001. Around that time, of which I had my first VHS player, my first real, device that I could watch movies on, or even television shows if I could. I didn't necessarily have VHS tapes for that. And my first ever computer, though, I had myself a pretty fair share of certain PC games, including the Roller Coaster Tycoon trilogy, which certainly had been around for quite some time. But we don't really get to see much of that nowadays. But we also do have ourselves a much bigger fair share than just my first ever computer or VHS player, because eventually after 2003, of which I had more than 10 different types of VHS tapes relating to different movies, was where I got a PlayStation 1. Yes, a PlayStation 1. And then eventually, after around that same year, was where I got a PlayStation 2. Around 2005 was where I got a PlayStation 2. And let me just say that it was an unbelievable time for me because, well, gaming consoles of any of that sort, well, there really was not much more of this that I could really point out to, but aside from the fact of which that I have myself a pretty fair share of nostalgic portions of my life in which I was introduced to certain things out there, I feel more than just glad to get to know about certain bits and portions of any sort that relate to the topic. Anyhow though, 2001 was where I was introduced to the VHS player and my first computer, and then there was another computer that I got to play even more games on around 2005, of which I was also introduced to the PlayStation 2, and in which the PlayStation 1, however, really was where a lot of really big things started to come up, because the PlayStation 1 was where I got into the game series Rayman. And Rayman was definitely one of my favorite games ever, on any console whatsoever. I've always watched a full gameplay movie of Rayman, the very first ever edition from 1995. But by today's standards, we got ourselves the Rayman Legends collection, which is somewhat brand new, and we are just getting to know about it. But the original Rayman from 1995, however, was really amazing piece of nostalgia for me. Although, I probably have to say for myself, I didn't necessarily get very far into the game before I moved on to the PlayStation 2. However, though, going ahead on back to the PlayStation 1, there was much more games that I had other than just Rayman. There were quite a bit of other games that I played on the PlayStation 1, but of which I cannot necessarily remember the names of some of them. However, though, I do tend to remember how the games went. And if anybody could, point out to me certain games out there that were on the PlayStation 1, of which I may have played, but which I have not known about, then you can just send me a link, your comments, or even a tweet telling me different types of games out there that are on the PlayStation 1 by today's standards. Rayman, though, was still one of my favorite games I ever played, on the PlayStation 1 or otherwise. There were plenty of other games I played on the PlayStation 1 too. That was also where I got to know about the game series, the franchise Grand Theft Auto. Because on the PlayStation 1 was where I first played Grand Theft Auto. And this was the very first Grand Theft Auto they ever made. But today's standards, I barely even made it past 2, 3, 4, and I didn't really play much of Grand Theft Auto 5. I did play a lot of Grand Theft Auto 1, though. And that's just because some people out there just, my parents were kind of that sloppy at parenting. They didn't want to maintain age-appropriate related games. I don't necessarily blame them, though. I probably blame whoever's idea it was to even make the games and to sell them out to children. Allegedly sell them to children. But anyhow, though, moving on to the PlayStation 2 was really where it got much bigger for me. Much bigger game expansion. A much bigger game expansion I had at the time, including a few others that I have not seen before. I've had Sonic Heroes, Jak and Daxter, Driver 3, and even one of my favorite games ever from 2002, ATV Off-Road Fury 2. And that was another one of my most favorite games ever because, by today's standards, we got ourselves a pretty big share of ATV Off-Road Fury 2 gameplay videos from the last 10 years. And even though it came out back in 2002, I can't necessarily really just give out forth because, I no longer have the game. I don't even have ATV Off-Road Fury 1, and I just got to know about ATV Off-Road Fury 3 and 4. PlayStation 2 really became a much bigger hit for my entire lifeline of nostalgia. But it gets even bigger when we hit the PlayStation 3. My family first got the PlayStation 3 in Christmas of 2007. That was the very first year of which we got a PlayStation 3. As for Xbox, though, I never got into Xbox until Christmas of 2010, when I was introduced to the Xbox Kinect series from 2009. So, I was pretty much a year too late from that, but still, I was just so happy I managed to get an Xbox 360 in any ways. But right now, here in today's standards, right now in the present, I'm going to be saving up money to get myself an Xbox One S. I'll get myself 1 terabyte of storage, and I'll even have money left to download some games that I could play. But for now, though, let's probably just focus on, PlayStation 3 and somewhere around that time. Starting from 2007 to 2010, was around that time in which YouTube was really starting to uprise and just take over the nation by storm. People uploading videos online was not necessarily a huge hit until YouTube came along and really took the world by storm. However though, I didn't necessarily get to know a lot about YouTube up until January of 2008, when a video called Pughead Tilt was uploaded to YouTube recently, at the time that it was released. And I got to watch that on my mother's computer in her office. And it was amazing. I mean, that was where I eventually got to go into my own computer and start watching other videos, which included, well, at first it included videos about pugs from 2007 to 2009 or 2010 even. But up until around 2008, really, just that was about 3-4 years after YouTube was established for the first time. It was where eventually the inventory of videos that I got to watch and really love expanded upon that same year in 2008, of which, at one point in which I came across a video called Pug Bowling, and eventually there was a video about trains, and that of which led me to a channel known as Miss Oliver and Blossom. Miss Oliver and Blossom was by far one of the biggest YouTubers I've ever come across during the year of 2008, and I really loved his work. However though, he no longer makes YouTube videos on that channel. He has another channel known as The Wilsonator. I will put a link to that channel in the description box below, but just for the heck of it, I'll also put a link to Miss Oliver and Blossom's channel in the description box below as well, because the owner, as I've gotten to know him from his 6-part Q&A session in 2010, William Grubb, who is behind all the work. Ironically, he is probably a huge YouTuber right about now, though not as huge as any others like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, PewDiePie, or any other like that. Not even Fred. Though, around that same time though, that of which I started to watch Miss Oliver and Blossom's videos, was where I also got to know about Fred Figglehorn, though his channel is pretty much dead too. It has been dead for at least 5 years. And I don't know where he is right now, but I can't necessarily predict exactly where his whereabouts are. But what I can say right now though is, as of 2010, YouTube started to really become an interest of mine that I really started to take in every day of my life. As I left elementary school, headed on over to middle school, was where eventually YouTube started becoming something for anybody out there. Because eventually people were getting paid to make YouTube videos, thanks to the monetization that they were offered. And of course, I even got to engage in monetization back in 2014 and 2015. Though that no longer is active. And this is because, well, nowadays we need to submit an application to get ourselves monetized, and nowadays we have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in 12 months. That's the new requirements that we've had for quite some time now. But anyhow though, in 2013, YouTube was really big. And we've also gotten ourselves a really huge edge as to how big our YouTube channels were getting. Subscribers were popping up in the millions on certain channels, and the biggest creators were getting paid the biggest amount of wealth. I was not getting paid anything in 2013 because I had no monetization enabled, nor have I had so many videos on my channel back in 2013. But anyhow though, as of 2014 and 2015 was where it really started to get my channel to rise up in terms of anything really. And on top of that, on my channel, speaking about my channel though, I did establish my channel July 11 of 2008. And 2008 of course was the same exact year in which I really got to know about YouTube, and I really started to love people's work on that website. Miss Oliver and Blossom, Pughead Tilt creators out there, any of those guys out there that really started to change my life for the better, those guys were the very first to really do so. Miss Oliver and Blossom especially was probably one of my favorites ever. He really mastered in singing, he mastered in voice acting, he masters in writing, he masters in filming and photography, and he really masters the comedy, really, with his rather hilarious demeanor. I'm not even joking. I mean, if you watch some of Miss Oliver and Blossom's videos, or any videos made by William Grubb, then you might as well just go ahead and check them out. The links are still in the description box below to both of his channels, The Wilstonator and Miss Oliver and Blossom. And of course, there's also a lot more to this than just, well, Miss Oliver and Blossom just leaving. Because in 2017, though, we also had some more famous YouTubers out there really, really, really making an enormous change. Such as, well, you know, abandoning their channels forever, or really making a huge change that would have changed our lives for something bad. BF versus GF, featuring Gina and Jesse. They ended up breaking up after a 10-year-long relationship in August of 2017. And that was just two YouTubers out there that I really, really fell in love with. I really loved their work, and they were getting a lot of subscribers and views and likes on their videos for that. Miss Oliver and Blossom and BF vs. GF changed my life for the worst, really, because Miss Oliver and Blossom abandoned his channel forever, and BF vs. GF ended up with a huge breakup between the two main people of the whole channel. And of course, there's also a lot more to this than just, well, people finally doing something to their channel that really affects us. It really affects us deep down in our emotions, and there's also a lot more to this, though. Though I cannot necessarily predict exactly what could happen. But anyhow, though, I've gotten to know really much about YouTube. I've gotten to know about Twitter, really. My Twitter is older than YouTube, if you haven't already noticed. August 12th of 2006 was where I first made my Twitter account. This was way before I got to know about YouTube. Anyhow, though, as of 2013, my brother ended up getting a PlayStation 4. Christmas 2013, that is. He got himself a first edition PlayStation 4. And of course, by today's standards right now, we are looking forward to getting ourselves a PlayStation 5 released to any stores in the United States. And in which I will buy one for him. No doubt, I will buy one for him. My brother deserves a PlayStation 5 for being an amazing sport in the PlayStation community. Though, if you haven't already checked any of my gaming videos, or any of the gaming videos that I'm going to have in the future, they will be featured on my brother's PlayStation account, Star Medicine Man. And this is because, well, I do not have an Xbox One S like I planned to get, because, well, first I need to find a way to just extract money from my savings account, because, well, my parents established a new account recently as a safe deposit box, so this way my money can stay safe without anybody really doing anything wrong to it, really. But I'd have to find out a way to extract money from that. Regardless of whatever I do, though, well, I'm just going to be using the PlayStation 4 to record gaming videos. In fact, I am going to be having more gaming videos starting later this month, in October. Anyhow, though, that's pretty much it for right now. Oh, and I also forgot, though, that as of 2016, I've had an Asus X555 series laptop, which is not really that much of nostalgia, except for the fact that it really got me the opportunity to really just focus on my YouTube channel, thanks to downloads and software and such. But now, though, if you want to see more videos of Why Is That, if you want to see more videos of me whatsoever, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.